In today's video, I will be flushing the rear and front brake system on the BMW K1600. Motorcycle is on a center stand. I removed the seat, and now I'm going to remove this bolt using a T25 to take off the side cover. The back of the side cover underneath has two more T25 bolts. Now that the bolts are removed, the cover can be removed. Be careful, this plastic piece will probably pop out. Get that off, and then we can remove this cover. The reason I removed the side cover was to get better access to the rear brake reservoir. Before I open this, we're gonna wipe it down with a rag. Now we're gonna open up the cap, being careful not to drop any brake fluid. Go ahead and put this back in its holder. Using my syringe, suck up that old fluid. Dispose of it in a container. Take the reservoir back out, and there's a little bit of fluid left inside the reservoir, so I'm just gonna wipe it all up. Should be nice and clean, nothing in there. Place it back in its holder. I am using Lucas synthetic brake fluid .4. Fill up the reservoir. Flush the rear brakes until we get clear brake fluid. For now, this will remain like this with no cover on it. I'm going to remove the rubber cap that is on the bleeder using an 11mm wrench. Go ahead and break the bleeder valve on the rear brake caliper loose. I have my 11mm wrench on the bleeder, using my tube to go from the bleeder right into the collection bottle. I'm going to press the brake pedal down, hold it, creating pressure in the system, and then I will release or turn the brake bleeder valve. Allows the fluid to be flushed out and into the collection bottle. The noise you're hearing is me pumping the rear brake pedal twice, holding it down, and then releasing the bleeder. To explain one more time what I'm doing is, this is your rear brake pedal. I'm pressing it down twice. Second time I hold it down, creating pressure in the brake system. Release that valve and the fluid runs out of the caliper. All at the same time, you got to keep an eye on your brake reservoir to make sure you do not run out of fluid. So now that it's low, go ahead and put some more fluid in there. With my left hand, working the bleeder valve, and with my right hand, I'm working the brake pedal. I can see that I'm pretty much getting clear fluid out of here. So the rear brake system is now bled. Make sure that bleeder valve is snug, closed. Make sure you top off your rear brake reservoir. And put your cap back on. Using a T20, remove the front reservoir cover. Before I remove that cover, I'm going to place a garbage bag underneath this, just in case I spill any brake fluid. Don't want to get it on the bike. Just like before, I'm going to take the syringe with the hose and I'm going to remove the brake fluid. Using clean brake fluid, I will fill the reservoir. Remove the cover on the bleeder valve. Like the back brakes, we're going to squeeze the brake lever. Squeeze it twice. Second time we hold it down. Open the bleeder while we're holding the brake lever to let that fluid out. Once the brake lever bottoms out, we close the bleeder. Squeeze the brake lever twice, hold it, and open. Keep an eye on your reservoir. Make sure you don't run out of fluid. Fill the reservoir back up. Same thing as the other side. Remove the rubber cover. For some reason, this one is a 10mm bleeder valve, while the other side was an 8. Alright, this bleeder valve's ready to go. Put the tube on. Okay, that looks good. Got clear fluid coming through there. Alright, looks like we got a little bit of a leak. Later on, we're gonna wash all this. Top off the reservoir. Now we can place the cover back on. Make sure you don't overfill the reservoir, because it might leak a little bit like I did here. We have to hook up my scan tool to the bike. Turn the bike on. Alright, now that we're done flushing out the brake systems front and rear, I have to log on to my program here. 1600 GTL. I'm going to go to ABS system. Actuator control. We're going to pump motor. And we're going to turn the pump on. You should be able to hear that running. And then we're going to actuate or engage the front and rear brakes at the same time. And that should flush the ABS system. I'll do it one more time. All right, we're done with that. So basically what you're doing is you're activating the pump for the ABS system so it flows that clean fluid that we just put in through the pump system. Now I have to flush the rear and front brakes again. I like to wash everything down with some soap and water. So if there's any brake fluid spilt anywhere, and there probably will be some, little soap and water will get everything off. Cover back on. So the max is the second line above the first line. Fill it up to the max line. Put your cover on. Wash everything down just in case. And put your reservoir back into place. Cover back on. I'll snug these up. The reason I take this side cover off, just to get easy access to the rear brake reservoir. So if you had help, you could just have somebody pop out the reservoir and hold it in place like that without having to take this off. Snug those down. Check your brakes. They should feel really good. If you do spill brake fluid, and you probably will, don't panic too much about it. Wash everything down with soapy water. I like to use dish detergent, and that'll clean out the brake fluid off of your panels or wherever you might have dripped some fluid. So after I'm done individually washing each section, I'll wash the whole bike and make sure there's nothing on it. Folks, that's how I flush the front and rear brake system on a 2012 BMW K1600 GTL. To properly flush the brake system, you're going to need some way to activate the ABS pump. The only other way of doing it that I know of is to take the bike out on the road and activate the ABS system by hitting the brakes really fast and hard. Then you would come back, flush the brake systems again. Flush the fluid, activate the pump, flush the fluid, activate the pump, and then flush the fluid again. I do it just twice. I will put links to the stuff I use down below. This motorcycle uses .4 brake fluid. I use the synthetic stuff. Do not mistake it for any other fluid. Any questions or comments, put them down below. I'll get to them as soon as I can. You all have a great day, and God bless you and your family.